My name is Brittany Kaizar, as Jesse introduced me, and I'm going to be honest, when they approached me about doing this Red Talk a few weeks ago, my immediate first thought was that I probably could be the worst person in the world for this, because I'm scared of everything. And then I kind of adjusted that mindset, and I was like, well, maybe that makes me uniquely qualified, because I'm scared of everything. So I'm going to hop right into this. 3 years ago, I was the productivity coach at my market center, and I was really lucky enough to meet an agent who gave me permission to tell his story today, named Todd. You can't hear me? Oh, can you guys turn me up a little bit? It's the only place in the world that I'm not loud enough. Can you hear me now? Great, thank you. So 3 years ago, I'm a productivity coach in our market center, and there's a very brand new agent who has been at the market center a little bit, and he comes to my office one day, and he tells me that he wants to start door knocking and farming his neighborhood. And I'm like, great, that sounds fantastic. And he has all these flyers made, and he's ready, and he's pumped, and he's going out there, and he says he doesn't need anything from me, so I'm like, have at it, let me know how it goes. So he goes out, and then the next day he comes back to my office, and he goes, I ran out of flyers. And my first thought, wow, that's amazing, immediately. Tell me more about that. And then I go, how many people did you talk to? And he goes, I didn't talk to anybody. So I said, well, you had 100 flyers, right, Todd? Yeah, I had 100 flyers. And I said, you didn't talk to anybody? He said, well, no, I didn't talk to him. And before I did stop it from coming out of my mouth, but my first thought was, well, why didn't you talk to anybody? Like, that's kind of the name of the game here. And luckily, before I said it, what he said next was, I was scared. And as soon as I heard I was scared, I kind of like pumped the brakes on that one, because it was no longer going to be a conversation about lead generating or market share or anything business related. It was going to be a conversation about fear. So let's talk about fear as it exists for a moment. So fear is one of the most natural things in the world. It's one of the first emotions that we feel capable of even having, or that we have before we know what emotions are as babies. They have a startle reflex. Fear is a built-in mechanism to keep us safe. And it's not a bad thing. It's a thing, and I think sometimes there are negative connotations about the feeling of fear, but the reality is that it's a built-in mechanism to keep us safe. And fear exists for everybody, and it just changes as you grow, as you age, as things change in your life. And it doesn't go away. It just it's different. So quick show of hands, not that I'll be able to see everybody with the blinding lights. Who has a toddler, has had a toddler, knows a toddler? Most people probably, yeah? So we know that toddlers have that really inherent gift of truth telling, right? Like, for better, for worse, it's gonna come out of their mouth, it's probably gonna be true. So I have a little guy at home. He's about to be 4 years old. And if anybody's a parent, you may remember at that stage, that's when they kind of start to have fears that they can vocalize and articulate. And lately, I've been having these conversations with my son at home, and he's scared of the dark in his closet. Anybody ever have a kid that has that fear? And I had to kind of pause myself when we were talking about it, because for me, that doesn't feel like a real fear. And I had to remind myself, and one of my mentors had to remind me that just because his fear isn't real to me doesn't mean that it's not real to him. And every fear is real, it just might not be a rational fear. And what I mean by that is, I know nothing's going to hurt him in his closet, so to me, maybe that's not a rational fear, but he doesn't understand that because it's real to him. So we're talking about this closet situation one day, and I'm like trying to think, like, what am I even gonna say to him? Like, because saying like, oh, it's okay, buddy, it's fine, seems kind of baseless in the moment. And before I could tell him anything, he goes, it's okay, mommy. And I'm like, what do you mean, bud, it's okay? He goes, it's okay to be scared, because you have to be scared to be brave. And I'm like, you have to be scared to be brave. And I'm like, okay, well, my 4-year-old has life figured out better than I'm ever going to. But it's so true, because without the one, you can't have the other. So back to Todd. So I didn't actually say, well, why didn't you talk to anybody that day? I said, well, let's talk about that. What are you scared of? Because in my head, I'm thinking, he's a newer agent, and usually the newer agents, we see the fears of like looking dumb or not knowing what to do. Those kind of fears show up, and I use those in quotes because the vernacular could be different for people. And what he told me was that he was scared that if he talked to somebody, they might ask him questions he wasn't able to answer, Or he might knock on their door and freeze up, and he might not present himself well in that moment. Has anybody ever had that kind of fear when you're trying a new lead generation activity? Probably. You don't have to admit it, it's okay, we're talking about fear. So what we did was we talked through it, and we came up with a plan. And every time he saw me or any member of our leadership team for the next month, we'd put up our hand, like very dramatically in the middle of the hallway, and go, stop. And he would have to stop and pretend he was knocking on our door and talk to us like we were homeowners in his neighborhood. And he practiced and he stumbled and he probably repeated himself, the same things we all do when we're learning a new skill set. And eventually something kind of snapped into place for him. And it's not that the fear went away, because it didn't. The fear was still very much there, but he used such repetition in developing the skill set that he just didn't care about it anymore. And he made a decision that everybody's faced with when you're faced with fear, about whether the fear was going to be more important or the things in his life that matter more were going to be more important than the fear. Now, since I'm talking about him, do you guys want to probably guess which avenue he chose there? So that was 3 years ago. Last week I spoke to Todd and just like, you're really okay with me talking about you at family reunion in front of people? And he's like, yeah, go for it. Last year in Todd's neighborhood, he sold over 50% of the houses that sold or leased. Yeah, over 50%, if you need to hear that again. And he said it so casually, I was like, are you, like I picked up the phone after he texted me, I'm like, over 50%? And then he had the exact numbers, because Todd showed up and he made a decision, and now he's, you know, a top agent in our office, and Todd's gonna be in this business as long as he chooses to be, because he's doing the right activities. Okay. So fear in real estate, we talked about fear in life. When you have enough time in this industry, sometimes the fears kind of change for you. And I kind of polled a few people beforehand, and we were talking to some of the top agents in our office, and we were kind of trying to see like what the top fears that people name that they have in this industry are. And we heard a few times. So one thing that we heard was like the fear of like not having a predictable business, like not knowing exactly how much money you're gonna make from one year to the next. And another one we heard was the fear of relevance, which could mean either you're afraid of maybe losing brand recognition, or you're afraid that some kind of technology is gonna outpace your business and you're not gonna adapt to it, so maybe you won't be in the business. Or fear of market shifts, because, well, we're in one, but spoiler alert, we're always in a market shift. And maybe being in the market shift and not knowing how to handle it, because you've been in the market when it's been a couple of great years, and then suddenly things aren't flying off the shelves anymore like they were during the pandemic, and you have to adapt your skill set to overcome it, or else you very well might not be in the business. So it's not that the fear goes away or you stop experiencing it with your experience in real estate, the fears just kind of change. So with Todd, we had a little bit of a plan there, and I don't know if you guys caught the different parts, so we're gonna walk through it now. So the first step is identifying the fear, and not, oh, I'm so stressed, I'm so scared, because that's pretty vague. And we know that you need to be pretty specific when you're setting a goal or when you're trying to overcome something or adapt. So instead of calling it like, I'm so scared, or I have this uncertainty, name it, identify it, like call it out and say, I'm scared that I might not be relevant because I don't know enough about AI, and I need to either figure out about AI or be prepared for what happens if I'm not. Call it out. I'm scared that I'm not going to make the same amount of money or more money than I did last year because I don't have a good system in place. I'm scared that the market is shifting because I'm going to have to maybe work twice as hard as I did last year to keep up this year. So be specific, be painfully specific, because being vague is not going to help you identify your fears. Step number 2, make a plan. So in Todd's case, the plan was me dramatically throwing my hand up in the middle of the hallway and making him talk to me like a homeowner in his neighborhood. If your fear is the relevance thing, well, what are you afraid of making you irrelevant? Learn it, buy it, have somebody teach it to you. Figure out how involved you want to be, or maybe just leverage out the piece that will keep you relevant. If your fear is, I don't have a predictable business, well, there's probably a system and a coach for that, if I had to guess. Shameless plug, MapSmith is right over there. But name it, like make the plan for it. If your fear is, oh, I'm not prepared for the market shift, well, you should be. If you know your business, if you have a P&L, if you have a system in place, and you know that in the current market exactly what actions you need to do in order to get the results you want, then you evaluate it every single time you feel a market shifting, and you say, okay, maybe I need to make an extra 5 calls a day. And maybe it's something that small that you need to do to make a difference. Which brings us to step number 3, which is taking action. And I'm not talking like heroic, monumental action. It doesn't have to be this giant, grand thing. Because if you've been to any of the breakout sessions, I know something I've heard in a lot of them is that the people that are the most successful in this industry aren't doing it in huge leaps and bounds. They're doing it in really repetitive, small doses. To the point of like, embrace the boring and show up for the boring every day, and the giant stuff will happen. And I promise you that it will. So those are our 3 steps. We're identifying the fear, we're calling it out, we're making a plan around it, and we are taking incredibly repetitive, boring action until those results show up for you. Does everybody understand that? Awesome. So what happens if you don't, is my next question. We're gonna go to that negative place for a second. If you don't make a plan, if you don't show up, if you don't call it out and identify it for what it is, and you decide that instead you're just going to avoid it, does anybody here think that avoidance is a great strategy? That's a trick question, it's not. So building a skill set is a strategy, implementing a system is a strategy, getting a coach is a strategy, being accountable is a strategy, writing out your plan and having like all of the planning tools at your disposal and utilizing them are strategies. Avoidance is not a strategy, and you don't grow when you avoid things. I think that, and I'm going to make a possibly strong statement here, that as agents grow in this business or they spend enough time in this industry, sometimes they feel like they can't tell people that they're scared of things, and maybe they don't even recognize that they're scared of them. And maybe it's something like, I really want to add this different new lead generation method to my business, or I really want to buy into, either metaphorically or financially into a system or a tool or something that's going to help me. But they don't want to ask for help. They don't want to reach out their hand and admit to everybody that they need help. Or maybe they don't want to admit it to themselves. Or maybe they say, I'm so good at what I do. I have such strong suits. I don't really want to start over. And as soon as you start doing those in your business, it becomes a very dangerous, slippery slope, because then you start building a business around fear and you're not going through it. And the more you avoid those little fears, the more they stack up. And eventually you're so stuck in the lane that you've been in of the certainty of the things that you know you're really good at, that you stop focusing on all of those other things that could make you even better, and you stop growing. And that's a really, really scary thing. So, the agents that are going to overcome the fear, I'm not going to say they're going to avoid it, because the thing with fear is that if I were to say, ask yourself a question, am I going to feel fear around this? The answer is going to be yes. It's going to be a resounding yes. You're always going to feel fear. But if you say instead, let me put a spotlight on this, because I recognize that this fear is showing up for me and I need to come up with a plan. And maybe that fear is a trigger for me to identify my next opportunity for growth. Then I think the question, instead of saying, will I feel the fear? Because we know the answer there is yes. The question becomes, what can I do with the fear? And where is this fear going to drive me? And what am I going to accomplish because of this fear? And then my question for you, after recognizing that and knowing that the people that answer that question that way are not only building big businesses, they're building really impactful businesses, and they're not changing their own lives, they're changing everybody that they're in business and surrounded by's lives. It just changes. And I think the question that I'd like to ask you guys is, what if, just what if, on the other side of the fear that you're feeling is everything that you've ever wanted? So on that note, I hope you guys are having a great family reunion. My name is Brittany Kaizar, and if you remember nothing else, you have to be scared to be brave.